There, everyone, and welcome to a special extended edition of the Aesthetic Marketing Podcast. This is a special edition because I have a good friend of mine who you might have recognized her name, Kaeli Lindholm. She was on the podcast on episode 34, and she was talking all about being a visionary in your business and talking about this event that she was going to be throwing in the new year called PopCon. And I can't believe we were talking about that in in October, and January is here and PopCon is around the corner. And so I wanted to do a follow-up with her and ask her all about what to expect at this really, really fun event coming up. So Kaeli, could you just introduce
Oh,
yourself to people in case they don't
yes.
remember
Thank
you?
you, Milan. I think we were talking about POP as in the POP program. So yes, this is so exciting. Thanks for having me on your extended edition of your podcast. My name is Kaeli Lindholm. For those of you who don't know me, I am a business strategist, and I work with aesthetic practices and help them optimize their operations and grow their business. I work with doctors who are focused on patient care and just need help navigating the murky waters of entrepreneurship. And I have a signature program called POP, Practice Optimization Program, and it's a 12-week program that I kind of consider like a tune-up for your practice, like a reboot. You have your iPhone and you have to do a little update now and then. And the same thing with businesses. We get going, we tend to the day-to-day operations, we're putting out fires, and it's really hard to take the time to sit down and just sharpen the pencil and get refocused on trimming up the fat to help you become more profitable, and at the same time building out a strategic plan to make sure that your goals and your activities every day and your team's activities are aligned with the vision that you have for your business.
Oh, I love that. That's so important. I think so many times we're just constantly just going in our daily routines, and we forget about the strategy and how to implement that. Can you tell me, and I think you're right, excuse me, we were talking about your program, POP,
Mhm.
but now you have PopCon. And so can you share with us what PopCon is?
Totally. So PopCon is like a speed date, basically, with our POP program. So POP, our practice optimization program, is 12 weeks long, and it's a real investment for practices. It's for practices who feel like they want to take the time and devote themselves and their team to putting all the resources in place toward a long-term project, right? And really kind of moving the needle or getting the ship pointed in a different direction. And I just think that there's so much information out there as it relates to all of the pillars that really help define a successful practice, including marketing and branding and practice management. I mean, Milan, we can go on YouTube and find anything, there's no shortage of information. And so my goal with PopCon is to take all of those clients who aren't quite ready to invest the 12 weeks into diving into a program like POP for a full day and a half of really learning how to take all that abyss of information and dial it in and make it useful in their practice. And so it's a 1.5 day conference that's taking practices through my POP program.
So can you give us a little bit of a sneak peek of what people can expect for
Yeah, of
PopCon?
course. So when I designed POP, I really thought of if I was sitting in the audience, how would a program like this be different than all the other programs that are out there? And my history, I come from the manufacturer space. So I worked for a skincare company and then an aesthetic device company, and put on a lot of these conferences, attended a ton of them. And I felt like what would really help move the needle, based on my experience working with practices as a consultant, is having something that was less sit back and learn and more of a business accelerator course where I could
Hmm.
put my pen to paper and really dig in, bring my own numbers, bring my own issues and concerns, and have a resource of a panel of speakers and collaborative industry people that are going to be in there to help me work as a workshop and build my business. And so the whole format is based around that. The speakers that we have coming are experts in their field, and they're from different areas of industry, and also experts that have knowledge in other spaces that can be applied to helping aesthetic practices grow. So I can tell you that a business that's not an aesthetic practice could essentially sit in this workshop and learn and apply some of these strategies to their day-to-day operations and get value out of it. Because a lot of what helps a practice succeed are just fundamental philosophies that help businesses run, right? So we have, I'm going to talk through my POP program and really just give all of the secrets behind my POP program and our 5-step method that we use called SPEED, which stands for strategy, process, engagement, execution, and delegation. And these are the pillars that I use to help drive my practices through their POP program. And then we have marketing expert Heather Trevine, who has the Aesthetic Success podcast, and she's also the founder of the Skin Socialite, which is, she's really a social media expert, and her message is teaching practices how to actually take the patients that are in that abyss of social media, right, that they're engaging with or that they see or they like posts, and to pull them into the practice's ecosystem and into their email list where they can start opening up an educational and value-added conversation with them to establish instant know, like, and trust.
So I wanted to ask you about who the speakers are going to be, because as we're getting closer to your launch date, I just keep seeing another one and another one and another one. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the next one is better than the first. I mean, they're all going to be amazing, I'm sure.
Yes.
But I have to tell you, and this is just my selfish little plug I'm going to put out there.
Yeah.
Okay. When we started chatting, I was chatting with Heather as well. And I said, Heather, you need to come on the podcast. You need to come on the podcast. And she's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And we were talking about doing it. And still we are talking about doing this. So anyone who's listening, I think we need to DM her personally and say, we want you on the podcast. So I'm sorry, putting it out there,
Yeah, yes. Oh my gosh. And even
I'm
just
kidding.
from the two of you together would be tremendous, for all of us. I think just like the marketing brains that you guys have, it's so awesome. So, and we've been rolling out speakers, from the promotional standpoint, week by week, just to kind of, I don't know, is like an engagement strategy, I guess. And also the speakers that are coming this is what's really cool. And I'll answer that question. I want to tell you about the whole lineup, but
yeah, let me know.
What's so special to me about this that I didn't necessarily plan for is that the speakers who are coming are excited to sit down and learn from the other speakers. So Heather's coming, and I have a wellness expert, Dr. Todd Newman. He's a world-renowned anesthesiologist. He's worked with some of the top plastic surgeons in the country and helped them integrate wellness medicine into their practices. He has a proprietary method around pre and post-operative nutritional therapies. So he does like IV infusion and vitamin supplementation and diet planning for patients who are preparing for surgery or laser series. And so he's going to talk about how to put retail on your shelf. He's done it. And he's so excited to learn from Heather about how to build, his own practice and modernize some of his marketing strategies, because he's done business the way he has for so long. So
that's what I love about the marketing industry as a whole. When when we can all come together and lift each other up in different ways, because we all come at it from a slightly different perspective. And I think we just all, when you put everyone in one room, like how you're about to do at PopCon, it's just like this infusion of knowledge and energy, which is really exciting to me.
And what's funny, sometimes when you're no problem. You're in your own little head, right? When you're in your own world about the silo of your business, you're the operator, the owner of your business, and you have all this stuff going on in here. Yeah. And maybe you come into a room and you feel like you were the only one who was dealing with a complex issue that 2 other people have, or even one other person has, and you feel related to, and the collective group can talk through how their success or their strategies that they've deployed or implemented have helped solve that one particular problem. And that would be worth it to me to sit in a room and just meet people who could help me through those challenges that I'm going to have on a daily basis. I mean, I can't even tell you how valuable that would be for me.
So I apologize about that. My phone is connected to my computer and I completely forgot of that. But anyways, moving on, tell me more about who else is going to be attending.
Yeah, great. So, to kind of finalize the speaker lineup. So Heather Trevine, Dr. Todd Newman, I'll be talking on practice optimization. And then we have a branding expert. Her name's Marika Barukas. And I found her, I want to just hide her and put her in a corner and not share her because I'm taking up all of her time right now. She's helping really as a partner plan and prepare all of the visual tools. If you've seen the marketing that's gone out, the graphic and all of that, she's been the person behind all of that.
Oh,
She's
wow.
not a graphic designer. She's a brand strategist, but she just loves graphic design and she does websites. And but what's really unique about her is her philosophy and her approach about her business is so aligned with mine and with the other panel of speakers and the people that are coming to attend. And that philosophy is to be less like everybody else and more like your own unique self. And so what she does is she teaches practices how to prepare your color palette, and she takes custom images. She goes into their, a lot like you do, Milan, and she takes photos so that when their practices are running their campaigns or bundling procedures together, they're showing what's happening in their practice and their actual unique imagery rather than, stock images, which sometimes we have to resort to. But so we together have put together a program that we'll talk about on day 2, which is a visionary goal setting and branding workshop that aligns that visual brand with the patient experience. And so, brand is really, I talk about brand. It's like, what do people say about you when they leave, right? That's to me your brand. It's about your culture. It's about the experience the patient has altogether. And so she really helps drill down on what are those physical visual elements that you can implement in your practice that help drive that experience home that you're trying to give the patient. So she'll be there talking, and then we're going to have a panel discussion of marketing experts. And then finally, to wrap up the day, we have a world-renowned nurse injector and business owner. She's a nurse practitioner based out of Southern California, Lori Robertson. She's very well known, and so a lot of injectors really respect her. And she has a training program that is pretty special to the industry, where she goes above and beyond what Allergan and Galderma and Mertz do to train injectors. And she does advanced trainings for injectors and also for doctors who are coming out of medical school and not getting that kind of training that they need. And she has a program called the Aesthetic Immersion. And so she has, offered to come support and be a part of this cause as well, because she is in alignment with our same vision.
Oh, that sounds so exciting. And so remind us, when is POP happening?
Okay, so PopCon is coming up in just 2 weeks from today, January 17th, and we'll have a full day general session on that day and a cocktail reception that evening from 5 to 7. And then the second day is going to be a half day goal setting and branding workshop where you're bringing your notebook and we're building vision boards, and I'm going to help break down and set goals that business owners and managers can take back to their team and help teach them strategies to get their team excited and fired up and ready to go execute on those goals.
That sounds so exciting. So if someone is in the Southern California area listening, or is thinking about visiting Southern California just for this, can you tell us where they can find more information and purchase tickets?
Yeah, definitely. So there's a dedicated website for PopCon. It's called popbizconference.com. popbizconference.com. You can also link to it from my Instagram. I'm at KLC Boss Lady. And if you're in Southern California, don't miss this. Where seats are getting full and prices are going up Monday. So, if you see this before then, make sure to hop on board to grab your ticket. And I would say anywhere where Vegas, Phoenix, 1 hour flights in. And if you're out of town and you're ready for a nice break from the snow and ice and sleet and blizzards, Fort Beach is beautiful. So we would love to have you.
That in of itself makes me jealous.
No, I know. And I'm happy to answer any questions if, there are any direct message questions or whatever. I'm happy to help.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Kaeli, thank you so much for joining me today. Really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Milan.
All right. See you later.
Take care. Bye-bye.